Welcome back. This is AM Chart, and we're going straight into the newspaper analysis section. We're looking at the front page of the dailies, and this morning we're starting with the Nigerian Tribune. The Nigerian Tribune, first story that strikes me there says NAS committee on INEC, is 143 billion naira for the 2019 poll. Trump alleged lifeless statement, Buhari campaign organization, coup, PDP, others react. That's on the front page of the Tribune. We have the center spread there, rule of law versus national security. Excuse me, please. Afenifere PDP lawyers knock Buhari. Writers there says democracy without rule of law is lifeless. National security has no definition, limits. That's from Adegburua. We're going to start our talk this morning. We have a newspaper analyst in the house. He's a journalist by the person of Mr. Abayomi Olufemi. Am I correct? Yes, so we have in the studios with us this morning Mr. Abayomi Olufemi. Mr. Abayomi, welcome to AM Chat.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. First of all, I was thinking that the rule of law versus national security, is it the fault of I'm sure that, let me give you a background story on that information. Yesterday, the president was addressing lawyers at the conference, and had the lawyers conference in Abuja, and the president was the guest of honor. He delivered a speech, and in a particular part of that speech, the president said something like the rule of law versus national security, that the rule of law has to be suspended when it comes to national security. Now, a lot of people are kicking back. A lot of people are fighting. Afenifere is already saying democracy without rule of law is lifeless. National security has no definition. That's what Adegburua says. But for you, which supersedes which? National security, rule of law. Which comes first?
For me, I will go with Mr. President by saying the national security. Because a country whereby there is no peace, there's war here and there. That is to tell you that that country, that city, that state is not safe. But for President to be telling you that the national security, we should put it first, that is to tell you that he's a father that knows what he was saying. Because we all know that security is one of the things that we must take priority first in whatever we are doing in life. Because we all see what is happening in other states, not killing here and there. So if we don't put the security of the country at first, so what are we talking about?
But really, my question would also be, are we saying that because of national security? Because in this case, national security is a term, is a phrase that is not defined by anything. It's not contained in any statement that says this connotes a threat to national security. Nobody knows exactly what national security is. You understand? The president can just come. So what you're saying is the president can just come up tomorrow and say, in this case of now, because of this national security and all that, we're suspending the law, we're no longer using the judiciary or something. It means that doesn't it threaten the entire concept of our democracy? Because if we're still practicing a democracy, rule of law has to take precedence. So if what you're saying now is that we suspend national security, we suspend rule of law anytime there is unrest anywhere, is that what you're saying?
No. As a father, he's the father of the nation, and you know that whatever he's doing, he must put the interest of the country first. We are not saying that we should put aside the rule of law. But when he was saying that the national security, the security of the country, we must not play with it. That was what he was trying to say.
So somebody actually passed a comment yesterday, which I think that we should discuss. I don't think that the lawyers on the team of the president, we have the vice president, he's a lawyer, he's a renowned senior advocate of Nigeria. We have the Attorney General of the Federation, he's a lawyer. We have lawyers on that cabinet that know about the law very well. Now, the issue is that many lawyers, a lot of people, Afenifere inclusive, is saying that statement is against democracy. It actually violates the tenets of democracy itself. Now, is it the fault of the speechwriter? Because whether we like it or not, that statement was wrong. That's what people were saying.
That was their own opinion.
Now, if the statement to you now, you're saying that the president is correct as the father of the nation, which he also swore to uphold the rule of law. So he's now saying, because I'm just confused here. Are we saying that it's the fault of the speech writers, or you're standing by Mr. President and saying whatever it takes, it must be correct? Because he didn't write that speech. So many days ago, a couple of days ago, there was a speech that came out. There was an address that came out that Mr. President walked 800 meters. They walked 800 meters to greet some people and all that because they went for prayers on the during the Idil celebration. And a lot of people were making noise. The question was that necessary? People had pinned the man's willingness to, come down from the vehicle to greet his constituents. They had pinned it into something else. But in this case, Mr. President came out and said he did not walk 800 meters for anybody. He only came down from the vehicle. He doesn't even know how many meters he walked. He only came down from the vehicle to say this and this. So he actually took back the statement that was released from his office. Are you saying that now we should not expect Mr. President to take back the statement on national security?
Yes.
We should not expect him to. He's a military man, so we should just take it. Whatever he says, whatever it is, it's correct.
Yes.
So the president is always correct.
He's the father of the nation.
Okay.
He's the father of the nation. And Mr. President, before we speak, I know that he always think deeply.
So he has never gone wrong.
What is perfect in this life?
Exactly, because you're saying now that he's right all the time.
But for him telling us now, we should put the security of the national security of the country, that we should make it something that we should all, work towards to. He knows what he was saying. Whatever there's no way you can satisfy human being. If you say this, they will kick against you. That is exactly what is happening.
But we still don't have security. We still have security issues despite that.
He's trying.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Please explain. Extension. He's trying. In which areas?
You can't compare during the tenure of former president of this country, President Jonathan. You agree with me the high rate of killings here and there in north and some other part of the country. But you agree with me that it has reduced.
Really?
Yes.
But there was the same killings, because when the president came in, the president actually said he was going to finish, he was going to quell all of that within a short period.
It has been, if I'm to score him, I would say give him 70 to 80%. Compare like the way it was before, you will agree with me. We saw what happened when the former president was there, which was Jonathan. Killings here and there, you can't sleep with your two eyes closed. But now, things is getting better. It's a gradual process.
Okay.
It's a gradual process.
Okay, so we take this short break. When we come back, we still go back to the next newspaper. Please stay with us. Welcome back. We're still reviewing the dailies and we're going straight to the front page of The Nation. Oshibajo tackles Obasanjo IBB Jonathan over oil cash. We have VP Flay spending on infrastructure restructuring won't solve our problem. That's from the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo. Okay, Trump under attack for Buhari lifeless comment. Okay, people are already kicking against that. People are already saying that President Donald Trump is fond of saying all sorts of things about world leaders. And so, do you have anything to say about that?
The statement made by Donald Trump, President of the United States of America, to our president. A large number of Nigerians have been saying a series of things that they agreed with President Trump. But I disagreed.
Okay.
I disagreed.
But people are already saying that it's even an insult to our nation as a
Honestly, it's an insult and it's a big slap. And I will use this medium to tell Donald Trump to apologize to our president.
But Donald Trump doesn't apologize, so we can move on from there anyway. People said yesterday that the president of the United States of America is fond of saying a lot of things against world leaders, and that's just what it is. Plot to fill farmers. Elders clash in Plateau. Lagos PDP chair ESCO defeat to APC. Defect to APC. Okay, that's another one. Lagos PDP chair defects to APC. That one is hot. Okay, so still talking defections. We're going to do that on Thursday. We're not doing that today because we're going straight into the business segment very soon. Okay, we have U.S. Senator McCain for burial on September 2nd. Okay, Leah Sharibu. A lot of people are looking at that picture on the right hand corner of the nation there. That's the picture of Leah Sharibu. Parents confirm voice. The president has promised that Leah Sharibu would be returned to her parents. The parents of Leah Sharibu, the only Christian girl, still be held captive by Boko Haram insurgents. They said that they received the audio message from Leah Sharibu with her current picture, a recent picture, and it looks like she has not given up. She has not given up. Okay, we're going straight to the punch. Osinbajo, Nigeria's problem, not a matter of restructuring. That's from the front page of the punch. Nigeria's problem, not a matter of restructuring. That seems to be from the Vice President. He knocks IBB, Obasanjo, Jonathan, others for wasting $982.8 billion in oil revenue. We're going to talk about that on our business segment very soon. We're taking that aside. We're putting that aside. We're moving straight to the front page of The Guardian. In video, abducted Leah Sharibu pleads for rescue. Okay, so on the front page of The Guardian, we have that message published by the cable saying that Leah Sharibu pleads for rescue on the front page of The Guardian. We have outrage trails Buhari stands on rule of law. Outrage trails Buhari stands on rule of law. That's still the matter we were discussing about national security versus rule of law. Moving on, we're running against time, so we're talking INEC. INEC's budget, 143 billion naira, has been approved by the Joint Committee of the National Assembly. Moving on, and the last newspaper we're looking at this morning is the New Telegraph. We're looking at the New Telegraph. Buhari fit, lively, not lifeless. Okay, that's from the front page of the New Telegraph. We've talked about that issue, so we're not going to overflog it. And then we're still talking about Leah Sharibu there. Leah Sharibu, pity me, my family. Leah Sharibu begs Buhari. The president still promises that he will do everything possible to ensure that every girl kidnapped by Boko Haram is released. And I am Leah Sharibu. I am begging you to treat me with compassion. I'm calling on the government, particularly the president, to pity me and get me out of this serious situation. Okay? INEC says we'll redesign polling units to curb vote buying. National Assembly adopts 143 billion budget for 2019 polls. Yakubu presents details. And on business there, we have Nigeria's GDP drops to 1.5% in quarter 2. Okay, that's the much we're taking on the front page of the dailies this morning. That's the much we will take on the front page of the dailies this morning. We thank Mr. Olufemi for being with us on this segment. We're moving straight into the next segment of the show. We're talking business. Tuesdays we talk business. So we're talking business today, and we'll be introducing the topic shortly. Please stay with us. Welcome back to AM Chat. We're still talking business, and the topic for today is challenges that we face when starting a business in Nigeria, the challenges of running a business in Nigeria. We're talking to two CEOs this morning. We have a founder, CEO, we have a CEO founder, and all that, and I'll introduce them shortly. But while I was talking the whole time, I said that there are two things I wanted us to look at in the dailies. First, we had that comment on restructuring. Nigeria's problem, not a matter of restructuring. We had that part. We also had that part where Nigeria's GDP drops to 1.5% in quarter two. Nigeria's gross domestic product, quarter two 2018, dropped slightly to 1.5% from previous first quarter figure of 1.95%. National Bureau of Statistics announced yesterday and all that. And the VP is still talking that Buhari, I'm particularly interested in this. That's what I'm taking it. It said this writer says Osinbajo knocks IBB, Obasanjo, Jonathan, others for wasting 982.8 billion oil revenue. I'm concerned. Seriously concerned. I'll be introducing the guests that we have this morning. We have with us on my left, we have Mr. Chris Ademola Oke. Mr. Chris Ademola Oke is the CEO of Dem Corp Group International. And I have on my right Mrs. Obiajuru. Am I correct?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. She's a farmer.
Farmer in suits, right?
Okay, she's the founder of Farmhouse Ventures and Farmhouse 360 Ventures, and she also owns a consulting, Trace Consulting Limited. Okay, welcome to AM Chat.
Thank you.
Pleasure having both of you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so please, 982.8 billion oil revenue. This is the heavy one. Shiba is saying that was what was wasted.
Well,
no. Thinking figures, really. I don't want to talk about the political part. It's not about business here. But thinking figures as an entrepreneur, what can that do for the group of entrepreneurs that you have around? $982.8 billion. What can that do for our economy?
That's actually a huge sum, and if the vice president is saying that it has been wasted, and that's a really big point of concern, understand, and I think it should be investigated. But my question is that, are we continuing the trend? Are we still wasting? What are we doing now? What are we doing? Because if that much has been wasted all this while, and as at that time we were borrowing, but we stopped. Yeah, we were stopped, but we stopped borrowing. But now we're borrowing again. Yes, I know that the price of crude oil went up. The barrel per barrel went down. So, but right now it's rising up, and we're still borrowing. So now my own is not about the past, but about our future.
Our future, what we're doing
are
now.
we still borrowing? Are we still are we still squandering this kind of money? What will the next vice president say about this administration? So, what's if we're borrowed that much, or if we're squandered that much, that's almost $1 trillion.
That's almost
USD.
$1 trillion USD.
You understand?
$82.8
If
billion.
we're squandered that much, you know what that will have done for Nigeria? You know,
Infrastructure.
I mean, we should be having underground rails. I mean, everything should have been perfect, almost
I'm
perfect.
just looking at the possibilities here. Can you see the possibilities?
In our nation, when we speak about money that has been laundered or wasted, it comes as a shock, a rude shock to a lot of common Nigerians, to the masses, because you want to imagine, does that kind of money, does that amount of money really exist in the system? And I think that relating to what Chris has said, looking at the present, what structures are actually being put in place, that's linking it now with the issue of restructuring that you mentioned earlier. What structures are being put in place to mitigate against these leaks that allow the whoever is in position or in power to be able to launder or waste these amounts of money?
So it's still about the now.
It is about the now.
We can't keep crying over spilled milk.
And it's about the system that is in place. It is really it's about the people that are in place, fine. But I think it has much more, a lot to do with the system in place.
Yeah.
What systems are we creating? If the system that we had is not working to mitigate against leaks, are we doing anything about the system now to make sure that whoever is in power cannot, even if they wanted to, cannot even access this kind of money,
that kind of funds
to waste or to launder or to steal or to whichever way whichever way it went.
Adding to what Obi just said, if the vice president said that restructuring is not our problem now, then what is our problem?
I wonder.
Are we supposed to continue the way we have been going? Just that we have to restructure. We have to practice true federalism. Just that we can't just, the central can't be this powerful in Nigeria.
It's actually, for me, I keep wondering if the center is this powerful. I'm more concerned about if we're talking restructuring, maybe the concept of restructuring being a very big word and considering Nigeria.
There's nothing big about
but the way it is, every part of the country needs to be restructured. That's what people are calling for.
Yes.
Is that not it?
Yes.
And if the vice president is saying that is our problem is not a matter of restructuring, or of course he would say that he's not saying that restructuring is not necessary. He's just saying that our problem is not a matter of restructuring, which brings to mind what I'm thinking.
Yes.
That the people that are still in place, the system that is still operating right now, still gives room for all those leaks you were talking about. So if is it saying that if we remove the people, do a swap?
Okay, I get your point.
You understand?
So is he saying it is the people, it's not the system?
Or is it the system?
See, you know what? I am kind of disappointed it's coming from a Lagosian. Do you understand? Because imagine if Lagos was like any other state. Imagine we just waiting for federal government to feed us. Imagine where would we be?
Yes.
So if a Lagosian can, because it was one of the part of success story of Lagos. Now, if you can make every state in Nigeria like Lagos, yes. When did they find oil in Lagos? So it's not really
when
about.
When you're able to generate revenue by yourself within the state.
Some states will wait for the federal government. Most states wait for the federal government to pay.
Exactly.
Do you understand?
And the issue, mind you, the issue is not the federal government not releasing funds most of the time.
Yes.
For example, let's take for example some states that decided to embark on so many projects, so many infrastructural projects that were not needed. And refuse to pay salaries to their. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
No, imagine that a state spends 800 billion on billion, I said, on a project, and this same state
Has not paid
has not paid salaries for 8 months.
And they will need syringes in their hospitals. They will need chalk in their schools.
In their schools.
But
Is
if
that
they are
because of the federal
generating,
I think
government?
whatever trickles down at the end of the day from the center,
What
will
is it spent on?
Yes, there's a question of what it's being spent on.
So
but
it's still the people
there's
as well.
also the fact that it will not be sufficient for whatever they need to execute.
So they need to
down there.
generate
So
funds.
there needs to be that internally generated fund, and the
Who stops them from generating?
motivation for that is when you know, when you're running a business, when you're a marketer, for example, and you have a target to meet, you know that your salary, your commissions are dependent on that.
So you
So
do
you
everything
give it your
possible
all.
to ensure that you get
You
that.
give it your
So-
all.
so-
But when you know that, when you're not a marketer or you're an admin staff, or you know that whether I work or not,
I still
my
make the
salaries
money.
will be paid, there's less enthusiasm to push.
Exactly.
I think that's the problem of the states right now,
Exactly.
which is why people are crying restructuring.
Exactly. Now imagine if you restructure, what happens to the state system? They're still not going to be dependent on.
yes,
the
they
federal
won't.
government.
Osun State will not wait for Bonny Light money. Osun State will have to look inward, either
Inwards
farm,
and-
feed Nigeria,
And create,
and be
you know,
merry.
Benefits Nigeria.
No, Osun State cannot.
don't even go into what is going on in Benue right now. It's a topic I don't like to delve into because it makes
It
me get
hurts.
very emotional. Maybe it's because I'm in
very
the agricultural sector. I really don't. It's disheartening. Let's not discuss it. Honestly,
but seriously,
it is
we
painful.
need to structure this
Structure, the system.
our family,
Even our
called Nigeria.
Yes.
We need to restructure.
Even our democracy needs to be
Everything has to
revisited.
change. You know, this government promised change, positive change.
Yes.
When they were promising change, Nigeria, what was at the back of our mind is restructuring.
Yes.
You know, these are their campaign promises. We believed it. We still believe it. Yeah, we still believe it. So this coming from the vice president, we were already like, okay, maybe Baba doesn't really understand, but he has a vice president that does.
And you know that in a way,
Now this one coming
no,
from-
but you know that in a way, give it to the vice president. In a way, he's been doing a bit. Whenever he takes up, somebody was
Except
saying.
Baba is not in town. Except Baba is not in town. He doesn't do anything.
No, but he doesn't do those things in the absence of the approval from Baba as well. You know, whether Baba is in town.
No, there's the
Yes.
office of the vice president in Nigeria.
Yes,
And you know,
I
he
think
does
very.
the way-
I think there's very limited power.
No,
Let's use that word.
constitutionally, he still has his roles.
Yeah,
Attached
but he
to
performs
that
his
seat.
roles.
That's what I
It's
think.
just
But right
that-
now,
it's just
it
that-
looks like a political appointment.
No,
That's what's-
but really, Donald Trump's deputy.
Pence.
But you barely
Mike
hear.
Pence.
Yeah.
The only thing I've heard of Pence in the last 1 month is that Pence is going to attend Senator McCain's funeral.
You know, there's very little.
no,
He does practically what our vice
There's some
president
things he does at the background.
That's what I'm saying.
So
Our vice president does all
he
those
does things at the background that
but
we may
they're
not
saying
really
that maybe
see.
the decision making
No,
process.
not enough.
Yeah.
No, not enough.
Maybe the decision making process is faster when they know.
I mean, look at the
Maybe because
sacking of the DSS Director General. That was
know,
fast. That was decision. That was.
Because he was in charge. He was in charge at
and it
that
was
time.
recommended,
There's a recommended procedure for
Yeah.
all these things. I think the main being of contention with restructuring is probably the perspective from which
people take
we
it
are
from.
looking at it. You know, it has been politicized, it has been, bastardized and all that. I think that people need to begin to look at it from a business perspective. If you're running a business and your processes are not working, you go back, you re-strategize, you restructure, you say, okay, this person needs to report to this person to check lists.
You go back to
You
the
say,
drawing board.
okay, you make your payments here, get a receipt before you can go and get the product for which you have paid. You put structures in place, and that is what restructuring is. I think people need to begin to look at it from that business perspective. If Nigeria is a business and the way we are running is not being profitable, so to say. I know government is not, is not a profitable venture, but we're supposed to be able to generate. We're supposed to be able to generate funds to run the government. Now, if you look at it and we are not achieving that, we're supposed to go back to the drawing board
and
re-strategize and restructure. That is what restructuring is. And if we take it from that perspective, I don't think there's anybody who would be against restructuring.
You'll be shocked. There will still be people that will
Of course, a lot of people will say we don't need that, we don't do that. But really, with all of these issues happening around and everything, what exactly, how has this affected your business?
Well, there's been the positive side, there's been the negative side, but the problem is when the negative side overruns positive. You understand? It's really very frustrating, and when you're operating business in an environment that it's very hard to break even. It's really have negative psychological effects. And you need a very clear mind to do business. Now, things have been going on in Nigeria. The government policies, forex policies have been
because we're going to talk about those policies as well.
Yeah, they really have been when something is like a leech in business, yes, they are trying to
milking, like it's milking in a way,
not milking, just sucking life out of business. You understand? So and yes, but openly they will say, oh, we're trying to help new startups, we're trying to help entrepreneurs and all that, but you're doing the opposite of what you're saying. So there's been so many policies that is going on now. We really need encouragement from the federal government, and not only the federal government, from the state government to help the business environment grow. That's how to help entrepreneurs grow. Make it conducive. That's one of the things we need presently. If we don't do that, we're just killing businesses. And it's not good for the
economy itself. Okay, talking policies, which policies exactly do you think is not really helping businesses right now?
There are several. If you want to go through from your registrations to access to finance to taxation. I know when I say taxation, virtually every entrepreneur will scream. There's multiple taxation, and even if you want to pick on the major, the FIRS is 30%. If you
30%,
30%.
Wow.
What's
the go-to outside the country? Lower elsewhere?
It's not that it's lower generally. In most countries that are developing, it's lower. Even the cost of doing business is lower. But some other countries that have the same they are par with us. There's some incentives that are giving the business.
There are things like tax holidays.
You don't have to generate your own power. You don't have to generate your own water. You don't have to pay at every point on the road.
Okay, so you're saying because of those infrastructural challenges
you need to cope with.
So the taxes need to, reduce.
Yes, and then if the government is saying they are encouraging small businesses are the lifeline of any economy. That's the mainstay of the American economy. And if you're saying that you're trying to encourage these small businesses with all the harsh, business conditions around us, from the roads to electricity and all other things that businesses have to get for themselves, which are not obtainable, are not what you get outside this nation, then you should be able to do things like tax holidays. Give businesses tax breaks. Give businesses 3 years let them even stand
Right.
before you begin to suck them dry. I mean, 3 to 5 years. There's the statistics that says that most businesses die within the first 5 years of getting started. You know, and if this happens, why don't you sit back and say, okay, what are the challenges these guys face? There are a lot of them that we can't fix right now for them, but the ones within our power,
let's sort it out. Let's put them in.
Register for free once you're starting your business.
Exactly, that's another thing. You register for how much now?
Free. When you're starting your business. If you can register for free when you're starting your business, you will attract people to register, and then when you're registered, you can now monitor them and know, okay, this business has spent 2 years. What is their progress? Are they even growing? Are they making money? Should they stay? And then after 3 years, 2-3 years, you can now say, okay, these ones are making progress. Let's get the ones that are not making progress. Of course, you can still approach them, but I mean, you will know that you will get little or nothing. I know there's the filing system also that says you come and file whether you have profit or not. So you can come and file 0.
Okay.
Which fair enough is okay, but I know that when you go to FIRS or you go to the tax authorities and they look at your books, even if you are in deficit, my sister, you will pay tax. You would be surprised as to how they would find
something
taxable income within
out of all
your even when it is clear that out of your loss. Out of your loss. So things like that, things like the bottlenecks in accessing credit. I mean, if you go to walk into a commercial bank, you're talking 22 to 28, 25-28%. I mean, how would anybody take
a credit facility
with that amount?
Conditions.
Okay, so think about it. You do 25 for your credit facility, you do 30 for tax. What is left? How do you survive?
How do you pay salaries?
And then okay, let me now add
55% gone. You have 45.
Let me add electricity.
How do you run the business?
How do you run the business? You now come and if your business is dependent on electricity and you have to generate power, buy fuel for yourself, people are looking at alternative sources of power like the solar and gas, but they are capital intensive to even install or acquire, and you're talking small businesses. So in what way is a business supposed to get off the ground in that kind of situation? So these are the issues.
But coming to where you are, ease of doing business. I was looking at the list that was published by the World Bank, ease of doing business, and it was quite surprising. Nigeria was 145. I'm not joking. Well, that was quite surprising.
100.
Nigeria was 145.
Okay.
And in the statistics for where to get loan,
do you know the country that started that took? Okay, the first three countries.
First 3 countries.
New Zealand.
Yes.
Denmark. Singapore.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, these are not developed
exactly
countries as well. They're established economies.
Developed.
Yeah, they developed. They're established economies, but they're not world powers. I meant.
Yes.
So not world powers. So to say, but they make things easy.
Because they want to grow and they are taking conscious steps.
So we're like lumped with countries like India is even higher than us. India is 100. India is 100 and 145.
Because they are taking those steps.
India is still ascending. India wasn't 145 before. But they are ascending. They are making the conscious step. We're descending. That's that. There's an index of the countries that
loan accessibility.
But we are 130. So it's we were not 130 before 2015. We were 80 something. Now we're 130. So it's the level of which we're descending is really, really high and alarming.
It's alarming.
So we have to do something about it. Even our microfinance banks, they're not helping for small businesses.
I thought if commercial banks are not doing so well in giving out money, what about microfinance banks?
I approached a microfinance bank once. It was the same commercial rate.
22%.
Yes, it was. I think that a lot of those banks, they want to survive.
What about cooperatives then?
Cooperatives have not been. Yes, cooperatives. The cooperative system one has not been very successful in Nigeria.
Yes.
And then there's the issue of trust. There's the issue of capacity also. So what is that cooperative worth? And what do the members need?
Small-time traders.
And then and then if it's made up of smallholders or these small business starters, how much have they put together? And if we both need huge amounts at the same time, how does the cooperative cope with that? So that's why I say it hasn't been that successful. And then if you move away from that and go to all the agricultural loans, because I'm in that sector, or you go to BOI, you now begin to see other kinds of hurdles. The hurdles
I learned that it takes like years to actually get
different phases. It takes quite some time.
So even though we have those banks that give loans to small businesses,
but there's some there's some element of corruption.
Yeah, I was just going to
let's even talk about the length of time. Then we move to the because I also learned that it takes. There are some issues. How much time does it take?
I can't say for sure because I haven't accessed that loan. When you first approach them, they say, okay, all things being equal, you are looking at a 6 months thing. But a lot of times it exceeds 6 months. And I think the first step to even getting in or getting them to look at your
documents,
your papers is it's the issue of the fact that you need to come through their registered consultants. So I can't walk into BOI with papers and except. So I'm referred to contact any of the consultants. I haven't gone that route, but I have people who have. We were discussing the other day at a business meeting with some colleagues, and they mentioned that for those consultants, when you reach out to a lot of them, I think they probably size you up and they filter you into segments. So for some, they just put you aside and you don't get feedbacks. And then there's the issue of someone who got feedbacks. The consultant was pleased, was nice enough to arrange a meeting, speak with her, and he told her point blank, you see, tell me about your business. She finished and he said, okay, this is how it would work, or this is how it can work. You need to pay this upfront for us to arrange your documents to standard to access that, which I think is okay because you're a consultant, you should have your fees.
Your fees, yeah.
But the amounts they were talking about were not a joke. That's one. Two, there's also a percentage of your loan comes through. There's a percentage that has to fall back
to them,
to that consultant for pulling you through. So you see, that's the corruption.
That's the corruption.
The part he was speaking about.
Not just in big companies like BOI, but even in microfinance banks, you understand that startups is supposed to have at least access
support,
to loans. Microfinance banks, at first, yes, you're supposed to start your business with your own money in case you want to fail. Yeah, we understand that. But when it's time to support or loan, give you the loan, you'll be hearing some kind of corruption that goes way up. that your account officer will be the one that come 20% is our own. This is not official, and they will tell you point blank, and they will tell you that even the branch manager is in on it. So you will not. Whoever you want to go and report to,
there's nobody to report to.
just that is the person that will say go and settle that. What do you mean? So this kind of thing is not fair. And I'm telling you by experience, these are the things that has actually happened. Then when imagine you have to pay all this with the interest. The business is DOA, is dead on arrival already. Because they kind of you will not be able to pay back.
You've already taken 20% of the real money you collected.
I know somebody that actually, when they told him this, that I was like, okay, the person now like collected 200%, added 200% of what he originally wanted to collect. That.
Wow.
Okay, so if you guys want to collect 20%, this one, and I will have to settle another, and I have to pay another. They pay interest.
So he incurred more debt.
He incurred more debt, and at the end of the day, he could not pay off. And
then they'll start harassing you.
There's no how. He doesn't have proof that they
collected 20%.
So it really affected the business.
So the challenges actually do not go. It's not just about the government policies. It's not about the infrastructure. Even about the people itself.
So we're part of the problem. Even entrepreneurs, we are.
Yeah.
We are. I am. You are. Also, because if I want to go to a company and they said I have to settle, my brother, you just look at the gift of the man, make way for him. You just start
and you explain it away.
And not start paying. So we are part of the problem. But the thing is, are you saying that if I don't give this bribe, if I don't settle these people, don't let me use the word bribe. Bribe is to
I had that experience once, but not trying to access loan. It was trying to get payment for products that I had delivered. And the person in charge of the cooperative, was a cooperative I supplied, he was their liaison person with me, and he said I should give him 100,000 naira or my money will not be released. I had delivered. It was there. I had delivered. And this was a supply I took a loan to make. So I was thinking, I would have to pay interest on that loan, Fine, I didn't get it from a bank, so it was a bit easier on me. But I mean, when I say easier, it's because it was a short-term loan. I mean, I paid as much as 3% on a loan that I didn't take for more than 1 month. So if you calculate that per annum, you are still looking at a 36%. But because it was a short-term thing, it worked for me. And I was telling this man, I can't even give you as much as 100,000, but I don't even have money right now. Can you credit my account and let me? He said, yeah, credit your account, you'll disappear. And he held me to ransom. And I had to borrow money to pay him so that my money would come out. Not even just my money now.
The money you actually borrowed.
People's money. So what could I have done? So sometimes for entrepreneurs, it's like your hands are tied. I mean, you find access to a loan that will take your business from where it is to the next level. And then the only thing between you and that loan is tipping this person.
This corruption.
It is corruption. It's ingrained corruption. But you now begin to feel like your hands are tied. If I don't do this, I don't grow. If I don't do this, I don't move.
So like you really do not have a choice.
Apart from government policies, now corporate organizations should work more on their procurement department. Their purchasing department should be really scrutinized.
That's when people actually make a lot of money.
That's it.
See. I heard about a company that's that were telling their suppliers and their vendors that yes, it's Salah time, it's Christmas time. I know you are not allowed to give our staffs. Don't give us chicken. If you want to give us chicken, give it to the company. we'll give it to our staff.
Yes.
Just that, so, you get
Yes.
that is
Because
a
the
way
company is trying to
of-
put those measures in place,
Yes.
measures in place
to ensure that.
But it's not
these
always
things
like that.
Yes,
so
there are few
when you go to a department and you have to
multinationals
say,
who
if
do
your
that.
papers go from table to table to table to table.
And you know, sometimes
And you
they
have
just
to
say
pay
the
your
paper is
waiting.
just there and somebody has just refused to sign.
Yeah,
The bureaucracy,
because you are
you know.
not greased.
The
Yeah,
palm.
no. So you have to do. It's not. You see now, it has moved from government policy
To
even
individual. So
individuals.
now coming back to restructuring.
Exactly.
Restructuring is not just up there. So
Exactly.
our vice president should be a disciple of restructuring. We should restructure
Even
from the family level.
systems.
A mother that wants to go out and say, okay, my daughter, let me go out. Take this, go and buy something. You have started corruption. They are just, let me bribe you to sit down. And so if you tell your child to sit down, she
Child
sits
to
down.
sit down.
Just that. So restructuring should start from the family level of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We need to, because
Yeah.
unlike some people think, Nigeria will soon die. We're not going
We're
anywhere.
not going anywhere.
going to
We're
be
here
like
for the
Nigeria
long
for a
haul.
long time.
We're here for the long haul.
So we have to start working on these
And
things.
you know, we're growing,
Yes,
exponential growth.
yes.
Yeah, we have to work on
We
this.
need to work it
Exponential
out.
growth.
So we have to see why restructuring is very
Is important even in businesses, and that's why I gave an example with businesses. If you notice this thing, I mean, there are a few multinationals. I had an experience with a colleague, a friend of mine, and she works with a real estate company, a multinational, and they have a cap on how much give. There's even one of a Korean company. I think most of the multinationals have that clause in place. You can't accept gifts above certain amount. So you can't claim a bribe as a gift, and it's some flimsy amount. Maybe they say a $30, a $50. So yes, somebody
So you
can
can't
buy you
package
a
it
watch
right.
to say thank you, but they even they go as far as checking the worth of
the
that
watch.
watch. Yes. If a friend, she said she was given a handbag and she was like, please, what is this worth? She had to ask, because those multinationals have those things
the
in
checks
place.
in place.
Our indigenous companies
Do
and
We'll find a
groups
way- we'll find
and
a way around
cooperatives need to begin to
Do those
imbibe
things,
Nigerians will
those
find a way
cultures
around it.
into their structure. So I think we all need restructuring as it is. Yes.
Okay, we take this short break. When we come back, we're looking at challenges facing businesses in Nigeria. And this time we're going to be looking on the part of the entrepreneur himself or herself. What are the things you need not to do if you want your business to thrive in any environment, Nigeria notwithstanding? We'll be right back.
Top 7 things not to do when starting the business. Number 1 is pick the wrong business. A lot of companies fail, right? 80% plus of companies fail in 5 years. A lot of it's because you picked the wrong business. Your business just trying to make money, and if money is your only goal, you're not going to be successful. You look at any entrepreneur who starts off just trying to make money, they rarely do. Where if you look at the most successful entrepreneurs of all time, the big names, the people who you would recognize, Oprah Winfrey, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, whoever it is, look at why they got started. Look at the early days of the reason for starting their business. The number 1 is never to make money. Okay, they want to have a positive impact. They want to change the way something is done. They want to mean something, but it's not just to make money. Now, making money is important. Okay, I'm not saying start a charity. You got to make money. You got to be able to support yourself, your family, your community, live the lifestyle you want. Money is going to be important. We're not throwing it away. But it's not the number 1 reason for starting this business. You have to be passionate about what you're doing, and too many entrepreneurs pick the wrong business. Number 2 is make the perfect plan. So many entrepreneurs, before they get started, they want to have the perfect plan, right? You got to have it all lined out. It's got to be 100% perfect, know exactly what you're going to do before you launch. And that holds you back. And this was me, okay? In my first real business, Redisoft, the biotech software company I had, I spent a whole summer making my plan, right? Here's how we're gonna grow, here's exactly what we're gonna do. And as soon as we launched, everything changed because my plan was wrong, my assumptions were wrong. And so too many entrepreneurs get focused on making the perfect plan that they don't start, that they hold themselves back. The best thing you can do is plan a little and start, right? When you get feedback and reaction and customers telling you what they like and don't like, you'll have to adapt anyway. So get that feedback as soon as possible. Don't worry about making the perfect plan, and don't wait until you have that perfect plan, because so many people wait so long that they don't actually take any action at all. They give up on it because they can't figure out the perfect plan. You will never have the perfect plan at the start. So start. Number 3 is spend money. So many entrepreneurs have great ways on how to spend money, right? If I gave you $1 million, you could find 1,000,000 different ways to spend it. Not many entrepreneurs are great at making money. And so stop trying to think about how to spend money, okay? You do not need a website. You do not need an office. You do not need a car. You do not need business cards. You don't need anything. You need you and your hustle to get out there and start talking to customers. Stop trying to figure out ways to spend money. You do not need money to make money. You need to work. You need to hustle. You got to get out there and start talking to people. It takes your time. You got to invest your time. But don't start investing your money. Stop spending money until you're making some money. Number 4 is try to do it alone. You can't do this alone. You cannot do this just on your own. You need people to help you. And whether that's having volunteers or interns that I had when I started my first business, right? Whether that's having a mastermind group of people that you connect to talk about our businesses and help each other out, you can't do this alone. You need to be able to talk to people, have people help you. And we're not spending money at the start, right? Back to the last point, we're not spending money on these people at the start, but you can attract people to you. You can meet up with a mastermind group once a month. You could start that way, but don't try to do everything yourself, because running a business is a lot harder than one person can manage. And if you want to do something big, you want to have a big impact, you want to change the world, you want to have a huge, meaning, and also make a lot of money in the process, you need to be able to reach out and not do everything yourself. Number 5 is jump into the wrong partnership. So many entrepreneurs jump into partnerships. Maybe you met somebody at a hackathon over the weekend, you have this great business idea and there's 6 of you starting up. Don't jump in the bed with the wrong partner. And I get why you do it, right? You want to surround yourself with like-minded people who have complementary skill sets. You're on board. Here's our big vision. Here's where we're going. Rah, rah, rah. Here we go. And then when things get tough, that's when the partnership starts to crumble. That's when a lot of fights start to happen. Being in a business partnership is just as important as being in a marriage, right? You got to think about these people as, I'm going to get married to this person. Can I live with that, right? You're seeing them how many hours of the day, right? You're seeing them probably more than you're going to see your husband or wife during the week. So you have to be somebody who has the same values as you. And the best way to try that out is to start working together on small projects. Before jumping together into this partnership, work on one small project together. See if you guys get along. See if you work well together. See if you share that same vision. See if you share the same values. It's so much more than just having complementary skill sets, right? If you're the business guy, you need a coder, you don't just bring on any
Welcome back. You're still on AM Chart, and I am your host. My name is Tomisin. We have with us in the studios this morning Mr. Chris Ademoloke, and we have Mrs. Obiajuru Luya right here with us. They're both entrepreneurs. They're both doing so well in their businesses, and they're doing a